Very long list of things we did not have in my hometown. You know, y'all know what I mean. Stuff like calculus, Muslims, hope for the future, that type of shit. We just didn't have none of that. Nutrition, just found out about that. That'd been good to have, I bet.
Comedian and friend of the network, Trae Crowder, knows a thing or two about living under the cruel conditions that the Republican Party's policies have caused.
You know, when he says to people like this, like, I'm going to, I'm going to go to Mexico and make them pay and bring your jobs back and all this stuff he was saying, it's like, he's speaking directly he's saying exactly what they want to hear. And I understand why they want to believe that stuff. It's just, even then at the time, I was like, but I don't get why they do believe it coming from this guy. Like, he's so clearly incapable of delivering on any of those promises. And also he hates and is disgusted by these people, and he's completely full of shit. So I don't know why they are on board with it, but I do get why they want to believe it.
And how the Republican Party, especially since the rise of Donald Trump and his unique flavor of fascism disguised as populism, has continued to lie, to exploit the same people who voted them into those positions of power and deserve to be living under better conditions.
At this point, I just feel like they're too dug in, they're too committed. It's too much about like owning the libs, and it's like sports and pro wrestling all wrapped up in one. It's their team and they want their team to win, and it's just all gotten super muddied and everything else.
The team sports and WWE attitude Trae is talking about speaks to one of the biggest flaws of our political system, and is sadly a feature of its design, not a flaw we couldn't have foreseen. Reducing politics to a binary decision between the two parties, which don't actually represent the true makeup of the country and the most important needs of the majority of voters, has only made this attitude more pronounced and drove the division between the parties deeper.
If you had polled any redneck man back then about their opinion on Donald Trump, it would have universally been like, he's a blue blood, silver spoon Yankee who thinks he's smarter than everybody else and needs his ass whipped and thinks he's better than everybody else, and that type of thing, right? He was the exact picture of like exactly the type of person they can't stand before he got into politics. But then he went after Obama, and then he just started, playing directly to them in every way, and they just totally went for it.
Once again, Trae could not be more correct in highlighting how Trump and the Republican Party hijacked and played into the real underlying economic frustrations these people were and are still experiencing, perpetuating the same vicious cycle that continues to plague Republican-led rural and working-class communities across the country. Which brings us to this.
It's great to be here. It's great to be part of VFW Post 92. I've actually got the card right here in my pocket. I'm officially a member, so this is not the last time you're going to see me.
Governor Walz has called you and Donald Trump, and that is weird.
Sure.
And it is taken off. The New York Times reports that when Donald Trump was asked about it, he said, "Not me, they're talking about JD."
Well, certainly they've levied that charge against me more than anybody else, but I think that it drives home how they're trying to distract from their own policy.
Why would people in Wisconsin want to have a beer with you?
Well, I guess they'd want to have a beer with me because I actually do like to drink beer, and I probably like to drink beer a little bit too much, but that's okay. I'm sure the media won't give me too much crap over that. It is the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys. But
what makes you smile? What makes you happy?
well, I smile at a lot of things, including bogus questions from the media, man. I mean, look, I think if you watch a full speech that I give, I actually am having a good time out here and I'm enjoying this. But look, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad.
The slimeball himself, JD Vance.
If you told me when I was a kid that one day a white trash hillbilly would have a shot at the White House, I would have been like, what, like with a potato gun? You're like, no, as the vice president. Wow, that's incredible. Please tell me more about this hero. What was he, a man of the people, civil rights attorney? No, an Ivy League educated venture capitalist who first rose to fame by selling us all out. Oh, well, that's disappointing. He also made headlines in 2016
by comparing Trump to Hitler. That's right, I know it's hard to believe, but turns out Trump's VP pick is a Machiavellian sycophant with less integrity than a Boeing 737.
A lapdog to billionaire Peter Thiel and one of the biggest allies to the depraved, ultra-wealthy tech business and finance leaders funding Trump's campaign, JD Vance is serving only one purpose to Donald Trump: access to his network and the hundreds of millions of dollars that can flow into his campaign from them. Vance is your typical ambitious, power-hungry, sleazy politician who will do anything to keep moving up the ladder. And he's smart enough to know that the only way to do so, as of now, is through Donald Trump.
He also brought his wife to my comedy show, and they hung out after. That's right, I saw you loving all that woke, JD. You know you loved it. That's right, that's actually true, y'all. He came to my show. We hung out afterwards at the bar, drunk beers. You know what we talked about? This is all we talked about. All we talked about was the existential threat we agreed Donald Trump posed to this country. That's all we talked about. So while I was not charmed by the man, in fact, it was like pounding beers with a spreadsheet, I did leave there thinking at least there's some sane Republicans left.
Case in point. But Trae is far from done in exposing JD Vance for the fraud he is.
I got around to his book. I was like, how did this book capture the hearts of the intelligentsia? Turns out it's because that book's whole message is, hey, you know how y'all think my people are a bunch of worthless pieces of with nothing to offer society? Well, you're right. You're totally right. We suck. We suck, but not me. Please accept me. I'm different. I once got paddled by a tycoon son in Connecticut. Accept me, please. And they did. They did. And that's when my opinion of him started to change, you know, because me and JD, we have stuff in common. White trash, hillbilly mamas, higher education got out, all that. But see, I don't hate my people, though. I don't. I'd sooner throw it all away than line my pockets with predatory payday loan or big pill profits, okay? I love my people. I understand that my people struggle not due to some inborn cultural affliction, but due to the capricious malice of the masters that he now serves, all right?
And that's the crux of why Vance is so dangerous. He doesn't care about anyone but himself and is willing to go to any length to improve his status and image, even if that means spitting on hundreds of thousands of people in the process.
Dude, I feel like he's like Ohio's Ted Cruz. It's like, I know he he won an election up there, but even people there don't like him. You know what I mean? He calls himself, he's like, acts like he's a hillbilly, but Silicon Valley at the same time, and they both think that he sucks. You know what I mean? It's like, I know it's a hell of a thing for the liberal redneck to say, but see, both of those types like me. See, I'm different. I'm funny and stuff. It's not the same thing.
If you can, please support Trae Crowder directly by going to one of his live shows when he comes to a town near you, and be sure to drop him a follow at the links in the description box below. He does amazing work, and his perspective is needed now more than ever.